Hello, welcome back to our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie review. Today, I'll be joined by Santos and the owner of this channel.
They've set me free. They've no longer taken over my channel. Today, we are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, the final film. It exceeded much better than Quantumania, which, by the way, didn't have a lot of Funko Pops, so we couldn't really do much. Obviously, traditional format, non-spoilers in the beginning, spoilers in the middle, and then we have no Mario collection to show off today, but we will show off these Guardians of the Galaxy Funko Pops. So, out of 10, what do you give this movie?
A 7.
7.5. So the movie is pretty good. All the recent Marvel movies have been very lighthearted, a lot of jokes and humor in there. So it does fit this movie, I think, which is why it did better than the other ones, because the tone of Guardians is generally more in line with this.
Yeah, there's like funny parts, but there's also serious parts, and they don't really go well together. So when you have like one scene that's really funny and then one scene that's serious,
it does kind of ruin the movie a little bit. But it does work in this movie a bit more than others. If they're trying to portray a serious message, it just gets ruined by a joke.
Yeah, like right after, yeah. I mean, it's good to have comedy, but I feel like it should be more spread out instead of being so close to the emotional moments. But I think that's always been James Gunn's style, because he has been quite consistent. Like, the first two movies were kind of similar format. He brought a lot of Suicide Squad actors into this movie, because I'm pretty sure you will notice, but there are a lot of characters in this movie.
It does move from like one section to the other to another. I can't go into too much detail spoilers, but they kind of do this thing, and then they're like, okay, because they found, and then this thing leads to this place, and then now because of that, they go to a different place. There are good emotional moments, but there's nothing like that makes you just want to start bawling your eyes out.
Yeah, like, there were heavy moments. Like, there were heavy moments that you're like, oh, damn, that sucks. But it's not like Endgame where you just walk out of the theater crying. It is kind of sad in a way, because they confirm this is the last time we'll see all the Guardians as this group together. So there is, like, that thought in the back of your head when watching this movie, because you'll be like, oh, damn, this is it. This is the end of the road. If you really want to make it emotional and hit the fans really hard, there is somewhat of a way you can rewrite the story a little bit.
In this movie, we have new characters like Adam Warlock, High Evolutionary, Cosmo, which is from the Guardians Holiday Special. They don't really have time to flesh out a specific character, except they did for Rocket, which is kind of a focus in this movie. But every character just gets like, it's a little bit there, a little bit here. Especially the new ones like Adam Warlock. Like, they don't really have time to focus on him.
High Evolutionary, I think, makes a better villain than how they did with Kang. I won't get into that, but I gotta say, High Evolutionary has definitely been one of the better MCU villains so far.
They present him very well. When you first see him, he seems very strong. He seems like he has good motivation.
Given off the recent reviews, this movie's been getting, 80% to 98%, which is pretty good. Complete contrast to Quantumania. So, I think it's safe to say, 100% recommend this movie. Definitely go see it.
The more Guardians movies you watch, the better this movie will be.
Yeah, including the Infinity War and Endgame. So this is the non-spoiler part. That's pretty much what our thoughts on it. So again, spoiler warning: if you haven't not seen the movie yet, this is your time to click away, because we're gonna dive deep. Time for spoilers, and boy, do we have a lot to say for this movie. So I'm gonna go on the negatives first, and then I'll start singing praises. I don't really like what they've done with the new Gamora. I guess she's from a different timeline, but she seems way too much of I get it, she hasn't lived the moments yet where she got to know the Guardians better, get a better sense of their relationship with Peter. So obviously, without that whole gap, she's not able to understand Peter well, and then, fall in love with him and all that. She and Nebula switched bodies, because that was Nebula in the beginning. Because obviously, being rough and tough from what Thanos did to her, and in this movie, she was literally the most caring Guardian I think of all. He was so caring, and she was always defending Quill, helping others. And there was a moment where, when Rocket was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, guys," she started crying. She had a very major leap from what she originated from. Whereas Gamora kind of went the other way. she went from this like caring person, and now like it's a new Gamora. I get that. She just seems way too much of a kid. that's what I gotta say.
I don't quite remember the timeline, but this is from Endgame. But I don't quite remember where this Gamora deviated from. Her personality should match whatever it was in the first Guardians, but she seems much more aggressive than she was in the first Guardian movie.
Yeah, like I think there was like a moment where she kind of like argues with Peter, and she just shoves him into the counter and just starts yelling at him. I forgot what the dialogue was, but she was just going full berserk mode at him. Yeah. And then she was actually gonna punch him, and then Nebula steps in and stops her. So that's literally what I mean. It's like Nebula and Gamora switch characters. That's what I'm saying.
She did get a new, very useful robot arm. So she's like the multi-purpose tool of the team, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like, if you watch The Bad Batch, she's basically like Echo of the team. They kind of sideline Star-Lord a bit, because obviously he used to be the main character, which he still has a significant presence in this role. But obviously the story focused a lot more on Rocket's backstory, which is most of the emotional parts of the movie. So if you're curious on what is the heart-heavy hitting parts, it is Rocket's backstory.
He was like abducted from North America, like just a regular raccoon, and then the High Evolutionary like experimented on him and like gave him like a mechanical skeleton or something.
But it was like torture.
Yeah.
So it was worse than what Thanos did to Nebula.
The High Evolutionary was like, from like 100 years of research, why didn't I think of that? And then I guess he wanted to take Rocket's brain out or something, and
then he was gonna like kill the friends Rocket made, which is what, Lila? Who was the Wars again? Teefs?
Lila, Teef, Floor.
And the scary looking bunny.
What was that was Floor.
Floor. That was a good segment. Those were most of the flashbacks that we get throughout the movie. I think they've done it really well. However, at the end, when Rocket tries to free them and they all die, yes, that was quite emotional. And yes, when Lila got shot, it was a jump scare moment. I think it startled a lot of people in the theater. Teefs and Floor's death just seems kind of out of place. Because Lila gets shot by High Evolutionary. Okay, yes, that's fine, because he was aiming at her. But then you have Teefs and Floor that just died because Rocket was dodging the fire, and they missed Rocket and it hit them instead. Yes, it has that emotional weight that, damn, Rocket just lost the people that he was really close with during that period, but I feel like it could have been reworked a little bit. I thought Lila was like a motherly figure to him, because she was already like the same age when Rocket was a baby. But I guess not. I guess they were romantic partners because they kissed. So I was like, so that was kind of a what? That was like that caught me off guard. So I thought she would be like more like a motherly figure and not Rocket's like love interest.
Yeah, that scene where his friends died, that they kind of had to die because.
Yeah, but the way was kind of
the way they did it.
Yeah, it was kind of like his Lila's was good, right? Like she gets shot right in front of Rocket.
But to be fair, they did focus mostly on Lila as the main friend of Rocket. Yeah. The other two are kind of supporting.
It does give him that conclusive arc at the end where he's back in the room where all the animals are stored, and he sees them and knowing what they've been through. And then when he like picks up all the baby raccoons, he wants to save them because he doesn't want them to go through the same thing. Like that is good. That's good writing. There was this hallway scene, kind of like Darth Vader, where like the Guardians just stormed through the hallway and just killed all the troops. I think there was another one where Groot just turns into full General Grievous and just pulls out a bunch of his weapons and just starts going ham. Like at the very end, when the Guardians split, when they reveal that they were gonna split, they do like the whole like salute thing where they like pound their hands on their chest, and Groot says, what was it? I love you guys. And I think I read this somewhere. James Gunn basically said that wasn't Groot talking normal English. It was just us as an audience finally understanding what he's saying because we are part of the family. I want to talk about Adam Warlock. There was something you said about him. What was it again?
Oh yeah, he's an incomplete character. At first, the movie basically sets him up as he was born not that long ago. He's essentially a baby in an adult body with very strong powers. If he doesn't get Rocket Raccoon back, High Evolutionary is going to wipe them all out. So that's his main motivation. He's the first enemy that appears. He attacks nowhere.
The Guardians try to fight him. They lose.
Yeah,
no, they hold him off, but then it ends up Rocket being critically injured. He wasn't the main villain. He's not the main antagonist.
But he was a lot more, on the bad side than I thought. I thought he was going to be 50-50 split. But he kind of just, for 80% of the movie, he is against them. And then for the last 10-20%, he does help them.
He redeems himself in the end by saving Peter, who almost got himself killed because of an MP3. I get it holds a significance to Rocket, and it shows their friendship that he was willing to risk his life to get that piece of file for Rocket. Even though that would have been a really poor way of Star-Lord going out, if that's how they killed him off, I actually wouldn't mind, because they can add on after that in his death, that is the reason why the Guardians split. Because the reason the Guardians split, it seemed kind of forced. Obviously they had to end, but it was kind of forced. Mantis just wants to do her own thing. Really? That's okay. Sure. Peter going back to see his grandpa. I guess, but there's a reason why he just left that whole past behind. And then I guess Nebula and Drax, I think, have the strongest reasons. Obviously, Nebula staying to become the leader of Nowhere, and Drax raising the children. Okay, those were valid reasons. Rocket and Groot, not much. The Guardians is their life, so it made sense for the two of them to stay. And by the way, Adam Warlock joins the new Guardians. Who was in the new Guardians again? It was Rocket, Groot, Adam Warlock, Kraglin, and
Cosmo, and some unidentified girl.
Just some random girl. It's who are you? But okay, it made sense for those Rocket and Groot because they've really got not much else to do, so it made sense for Rocket to lead the Guardians. However, the reasoning for their splitting is it seems kind of weak, especially Mantis's reason. Just she wants to do her own thing. Two characters should have died. This is what I think. Drax, because obviously Dave Bautista already said he's done playing the character. So, Drax dies. There was a moment where Adam Warlock fights, it was in the prison.
Yeah.
Drax got shot.
He got blasted.
Yeah, he got blasted. That should have been that moment where he dies. Okay, there you go. Another emotional moment. And then, at the very end, kill off the main character, Peter. Okay, I guess the MP3 is a weak reason, but okay, let's say he sacrifices himself. And then the leader is dead, and that's what prompts the Guardians to be this is it, we're done. And that's how they split. And there can be a quick scene, you know how when Rocket gets that moment with Lila, and that whole heaven-like world? Peter gets that, and he meets the Gamora that he knew and he loved, so the past Gamora, the Gamora that we all knew, and he gets to spend the rest of his life with. That will be quite conclusive, and they can still keep his grandpa, but they can say the Guardians visit his grandpa and tell him oh, this is what your grandson did, and what this tale of the legendary Star-Lord, and tell him all about what his grandson did to save the universe. I feel that it's a little more conclusive. It was written like that.
Post-credits scene at the end, it did say Star-Lord will return, so
probably for Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
So it seems maybe for contract reasons, otherwise, or they want Star-Lord alive so he can return later for something. So it seems they didn't want to kill him off yet. Yeah, if Drax died, then I guess Mantis going off would maybe make more sense too.
Yeah.
I actually have something to say about Adam Warlock.
Yeah, go for it.
So his species is actually new to the movie. It's not from any comic or anything. So they're called
Really?
the Sovereign.
Oh.
Yeah. Adam Warlock was like an experiment for like a super soldier thing on Earth, and then he escaped. So that's like his origin story. And in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, he's a major role in it, and he also can like wield the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh,
Like,
really?
so he's like he's really powerful.
Okay.
And that thing in his forehead was supposed to be the Soul Stone, but
Obviously, at that timeline, the Infinity Stones are gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And about that kid in the post-credit scene. So in the comics, I think her name is like Phyla Vel or something like that, and she's like the daughter of Captain Marvel, the male version. One of her names later on was like Quasar or something. But her powers is she can like shoot out beams from her hands.
So like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
When the Guardians stormed the organic planet, the main security guard was played by Nathan Fillion. There's this really popular cop TV show right now called The Rookie, and he plays the main character. He plays the main cop character in that show. I think it's called John Nolan or something like that. And I know The Rookie is quite a popular show, so I think a lot of people will be like, "Hey, that's him," when they watch him and see him in this movie.
People have theories that like High Evolutionary, well, since he's been doing his research for like hundreds of years, he's probably killed like multiple planets by now. That might not be like the first Counter-Earth he destroyed.
But yeah, I think we pretty much covered most of the major parts. Other than, I think, like, there was, at the end, Peter was kind of, he finally accepted Gamora for who she is, so, like, that kind of wrapped it up. But I feel like, overall, from all the Guardians, the character that got the weakest development throughout the story is Mantis. Everyone else was pretty good, but I think Mantis got the weak end of it. Alright, so that's pretty much our rant about the movie. We've dived deep, so now it's time for the Funko Pops. This time, Funko has an entire stack of Funko Pops. I guess we'll start off with the keychains.
Star-Lord, Adam Warlock,
Rocket, and Cosmo.
If you watch my Fan Expo video, you will recognize them. These are my two signed Kraglin and Yondu Pops. Michael Rooker's signature was massive. His signature took up the entire window of the Yondu Pop, and he wrote a quote on the side. He didn't write, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." I should have said something. I should have asked him to write that. But he still wrote a quote, so I'll take it. Sean Gunn, on the other hand, very nice guy. I didn't get a photo of him, but my friend got a photo of him. But when he was signing that Funko Pop, I asked him, "Is there a favorite quote you can add?" He put a quote from, I still don't know which movie or what moment that line is from, but he wrote, "Captain's gotta teach stuff." So he wrote that, and I asked him anything from the third movie. And he said, "I do have a favorite line from the third movie. However, I can't tell you. You have to find out yourself." So I'm like, all right, cool. I think I said the story before. And now, with the movie out, that line was to Cosmo, where he said, "You're a bad dog." For more details, watch my Fan Expo video. All right, what pops have we got? Okay, speaking of Sean Gunn, this is the new Kraglin.
Maybe the arrow's like too thick.
The design is fine. It's like nothing too impressive, but it's fine. It's decent.
Nebula and Drax.
Yeah, new arm. Drax does feel like he's lacking tattoos.
I guess.
In the movie, it feels like
yeah.
there's more tattoos.
Yeah, it does feel like that, yeah.
Adam Warlock and Star-Lord. Most of the Guardians are wearing their like uniform. So
They do not have a pop of High Evolutionary yet. Maybe they might make him a Collector Corpse, I'm not sure. But for now, if you want an antagonist, you can get Adam Warlock right there.
He is way too yellow.
Way too yellow. Isn't he gold?
Gold. I don't know. The movie didn't portray him like he was gold. He was gold, but he wasn't this gold.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I am Groot.
Okay, we have Groot. And by the way, there is also a 10-inch, which is a Target exclusive, but I don't want it because I don't have the space or money for it, so I have these two. That's the common, and that is the Funko Shop exclusive, where he has wings. And when did he use that again? Because I don't remember.
when the Star-Lord and Groot jump off the ship.
Oh yeah, and then he was like torturing the scientist guy.
Yeah.
to give him like a long and painful death.
Groot with wings look kind of weird.
It does look a bit like a fairy.
Sure. So we have Mantis, which I already mentioned, didn't do much. And also there is also a Target exclusive of her where instead of that pose, she has her arm up.
It would be cool if they had a bigger version with all the...
Yeah, with all like the monsters, yeah. I get this movie focuses on Rocket, but Funko really outdid themselves and made a lot of pops with him. So we have the first one there, which is originally a box lunch exclusive, but obviously I'm in Canada, so we have a shared edition, which we get from Toys R Us. So that's him in, can you look at that? I forgot, what outfit is that he's wearing?
Oh, it was from the beginning of the movie.
Okay, so yeah, it's from the beginning of the movie, and then the common one is this Guardian's outfit. Then we have the baby rockets.
One of them does look... Yeah, this one here looks a lot lighter color than this.
Than the common one. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Last, but definitely not the least, we have the Jedi Master Cosmo. So, the one on the left is the Hot Topic exclusive, which is flocked, and then we also have the common one. However, she is not wearing her helmet, unlike the comics.
Very much identical. Supposedly this one is fuzzy, because this is flocked.
Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much all the Funko Pops, and the keychains, and they did also make sodas. But at the time of this recording, none of those sodas have appeared in our stores yet, so I don't have them on the table. High Evolutionary deserves a Funko Pop, for sure. Like, he's such a good character, I really want a High Evolutionary Pop.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Mark 45 Studios. 1 subscriber per day.
So Ryan can swim in Funko Pop.
Which is a horrible idea, but this is what you do to get views. Anyways, see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.